When she hit the packed training ground, the impact knocked the air from her lungs and sent a cloud of dust swirling upward. Sunlight glinted off the sergeant's boots as he stood over her, larger than life. A hush swept through the recruits. All she could hear was the high ringing in her ears and the heavy thud of her own pulse. She had been thrown down in front of everyone. Some trainees smirked, others flinched, but they all shared the same thought: she was finished. They didn't know Lena Reyes. She lay there a second, staring at the bright sky, forcing breath back into her chest. Then Sergeant Collar's voice sliced through the silence. That's what happens when you challenge someone above your level. He made sure the whole platoon heard him. You don't have the strength. You don't have the experience. Accept it. His tone was even, but full of the confidence of a man who believed the outcome was already decided. Lena pressed her palms into the dirt. Her ribs ached, but her pride burned hotter. Losing didn't scare her. Being dismissed did. She had come here carrying a reason no one else could see, a story she hadn't told. She refused to let a man twice her age and size define her limits in front of 50 recruits who already doubted her. Collar turned away, motioning to the others. Drop the fantasies. Real combat doesn't wait. Some people just aren't built for this. Slowly, Lena pushed up to her knees. Pain pulsed through her shoulder, her arm trembling, but her voice didn't shake. I'm not done. Heads turned. Whispers spread. The sergeant stopped and looked back, irritation flashing in his eyes. Reyes, you're going to hurt yourself. Already am, she replied, rising to her feet. But I didn't come here to quit. Dust streaked her hair. Her uniform was scuffed. Her breathing was uneven. Still, she stood like something deeper than muscle held her upright, a promise she'd made long before she ever stepped onto this base. Collar stepped closer. You want another round? Fine. Let's remind everyone that stubbornness without skill means nothing. The recruits formed a circle. Some muttered that she was crazy. Others wondered if she had more fight than they'd thought. Only Lena understood what drove her, a memory she kept buried, one she refused to let control her future. She settled into stance. The sergeant moved first, trying to take her legs again. This time she shifted just in time. His arm brushed her shoulder instead of locking her down. She stumbled but stayed standing. A flicker of surprise crossed his face before he hit it. Lucky, he said. Prepared, she shot back between breaths. He came at her harder. She blocked once, then again. Bruises were already forming, but inside her chest something sharper than fear was rising, determination carved from years of being underestimated. Still, he was stronger. He swept her leg and she crashed sideways, pain flaring through her hip. The recruits winced. She rolled just as he reached to pin her. Instinct took over. She twisted under him, using his own motion. It wasn't a drill move, it was something older, learned long ago from someone who believed she could do more than just survive. Gasps rippled through the group as his balance shifted. In that split second she slipped free, pushed up on shaking legs, and faced him again. For the first time, doubt showed in his eyes. Reyes, where did you learn that? She didn't answer. Her past wasn't the focus. Being here was. He charged again. Their arms locked. He tried to overpower her, but she remembered words her father used to repeat when she came home in tears after being shoved around by neighborhood boys: strength might win a moment. Control wins the fight. So she stopped trying to outmuscle him. She redirected. A twist of his wrist, a step to the side, guiding his force forward. Collar stumbled, and then, to everyone's shock, he hit the ground. Not violently, but enough to knock the breath from him. Dust hung in the air. Lena stood over him, shaking, drained, but still standing. He took his time getting up, brushing off his uniform, expression hard to read. The platoon braced for shouting, punishment, something. Instead, he looked at her differently. Reyes, he said slowly. Where did you learn to fight like that? She hesitated, then gave the simple truth. My brother taught me. Before he passed. The air shifted. His features softened just a fraction. Then he taught you well. From that day on, things changed. Some recruits who had doubted her now looked at her with quiet respect. Others seemed embarrassed. Lena didn't dwell on it. What mattered was that she had reclaimed a part of herself. Training only got harder. Collar pushed her more than ever, as if testing whether what he'd seen was real. She struggled. Her arms shook in drills. Her legs burned on long runs. Sometimes she lagged behind, gasping. At night she sat on her bunk, wiping away frustrated tears, crushed by her own expectations. Whenever quitting crept into her mind, she remembered her brother's tired smile the night before his last deployment. "Don't shrink from the world, Lena. Be someone who stands." Those words carried her through the dark hours. During one brutal endurance session, she froze halfway up the rope climb. Her grip slipped. Muscles quivered. Others were already at the top, some had dropped out. The sun beat down. "You can come down," Collar called. She looked up, sweat stinging her eyes. Not to prove him wrong, but because she was done letting life push her down. She tightened her hold, climbed inch by inch, and finally reached the top. Slow. Painful. Victorious. Back on the ground, chest heaving, she noticed the sergeant watching with the faintest smile. "You're not the strongest," he said quietly. "Not the fastest. But you're the one who won't stay down. That matters." Over time, others gravitated toward her. Not because she dominated, but because she didn't hide her struggles. She helped those who fell behind. She trained beside the weakest. She built trust, not just strength. When final evaluations arrived, nerves buzzed. Tests pushed every limit: endurance, discipline, combat, composure. Lena fought with heart and strategy, shaped by hardship, not ego. When results were posted, she hung back. Collar stepped beside her and handed over her file. "Reyes. You didn't just pass. You exceeded the standards that count." She blinked. "I did. You earned it. Not because you're fearless, but because you get up when fear knocks you down." He paused, then added loud enough for others to hear, "And the day I threw you to the ground, you taught me something too." She looked up. "What?" He gave a reluctant grin. "Humility." Laughter broke the tension. The tough sergeant wasn't easily impressed, but he had said it in front of everyone. Later, walking across the training field with the wind against her face, Lena understood something. Being knocked down wasn't the worst fate. Staying there was. Real power lived in rising again. She hadn't stood up for applause or approval. She'd done it for herself. By graduation, she was more than just another recruit. She was proof that the strongest people aren't those who never fall, but those who rise when the world expects them to stay down. And in that truth, she found something brighter than victory. She found herself.